Daniel Negreanu is looking down at Queen Jack offsuit.
I was thinking of raising, but...
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Pre-flop begins with a straddle from Joe Hashem. Negreanu, sitting in position, decides to attack. He raises to 2,500. It is a loose open, but Negreanu relies on his post-flop edge. The table, however, is not in a folding mood. Jennifer Tilly calls with King 7, and Nacho Barbero comes along with King 9.
And I call off like a donkey. I just played awful the last section.
And I tried it again.
Should have left.
The flop is an absolute monster for Negreanu. He has flop trip queens, giving him a massive lock on the hand. The action checks around to Negreanu, who fires a standard value bet of 6,200. Tilly and Barbero, missing completely, get out of the way. Hashem, however, decides to get stubborn. Holding just ace high and a backdoor flush draw, he makes the call. It is a float. Hashem likely puts Negreanu on a continuation bet with a pocket pair or total air, and he believes his ace might actually be the best hand, or that he can take the pot away later. The turn brings the 8, double pairing the board. This improves Negreanu to a full house, but it also counterfeits any small pocket pair Negreanu might be bluffing with.
12,000.
His ace high is actually ahead of any pure bluff, and he beats any pocket pair below 8s that Negreanu might be turning into a bluff. Convinced that Negreanu is trying to push him off a chop or steal the pot, Hashem makes a very sticky call. He is now purely bluff catching, unknowingly drawing dead to a full house. The river is the ace, a card that is cruel in its deception. It gives Hashem top pair. In most scenarios, improving to top pair on the river is a green light to call a bet.
As we young internet kids say, you're polarized.
Ding.
Isn't that right, Jose?
Yeah.
It's polarized, right?
Polarized.
You haven't merged. You haven't fuffled. You're just polarized.
There's a bit of a fuffle in there.
Show me one.
Little generosity on the last hand.
Okay.
Daniel shows the jack.
I fold.
Why? Because I showed the jack? Oh, damn it.
Yeah, it's a scary card.
Bad card to show? Oops. I'm kidding. I don't want to show the jack anymore. You had an 8? Oh, you had an ace. Oh, okay. The jack was a scary card? I thought jack 10, you know?
You could have jack 8, jack
I'm stupid.
Queen Jack.
Well, obviously, duh. I'm so annoyed because I had jack high.
Save myself 22,000 through one
Yeah,
question.
Good hand.
Nice.
Oh, man, you talked me out of my money there.
Jennifer Tilly is looking down at pocket aces.
Did you look at your cards?
Yes, I am qualified.
I bet you are.
Pre-flop begins with a double straddle. Tony G decides to attack the money. He raises to 5,000. It is a standard aggression play from the loudmouth pro, expecting to pick up the blinds and straddles. However, Jennifer Tilly, sitting in the double straddle, wakes up with the pre-flop nuts. She doesn't slow play. She 3-bets to 15,000. This is a pivotal moment. A tighter player might fold ace-jack here, fearing domination, but Tony G's ego and the deeper stack depths convince him to stick around. The flop falls all spades. This monotone board changes the math entirely. Tony G has flopped middle pair with his jack, but he holds no spades, meaning he is drawing very thin if he is behind. Tilly, however, holds the ace of spades along with her overpair. She fires a continuation bet of 25,000. Tony G, ever the non-believer, convinces himself that Tilly might be semi-bluffing with a hand like ace-king holding a spade.
Big pot.
Huge.
The turn brings the 8. Here, Tilly decides to exercise pot control. She checks. This is a savvy move. By checking, she conceals the strength of her hand. She knows that if she bets again, she might only get called by a flush or 2 pair. The river is the 3. Now, Tilly repeats the bet sizing from the flop. This is a classic value inducement bet. It is small enough that it looks like a defensive blocking bet or a weak attempt to steal the pot.
Wow.
Wow, aces with the spade. Very nice, Jennifer.
You had me drawing dead.
Really?
Insane. Wow.
It's getting fun, isn't it?
Double
Yeah.
straddle and picks up aces, huh?
I know, right?
How beautiful is that?
The first double straddle is aces. Guess that's a sign.
That's my first aces, too.
Well, you deserve it.
Daniel Negreanu is looking down at Jack 9 offsuit.
Freak. What a freak.
He's a gift from nature.
Wow, you know what? I'm glad that I've changed your opinion because I don't really ever want to be known as a normal guy.
Pre-flop begins with a dynamic that always promises action. Negreanu has placed a straddle, effectively buying the big blind and doubling the stakes before the cards are even dealt. This forces the table to play for a bloated pot and creates aggressive incentives. Randy Lou, the online volume king, looks down at ace-3 suited. This is a hand that thrives in deep-stacked, straddled pots because of its nut potential. Lou raises to 2,500, attacking the straddle aggressively.
What is that? What did you do? 25?
25.
Well, your button VPIP is rather high as well.
I'm not Bryn.
I know, but you still play a lot of pots in that late little position, so I can call here profitably long term.
Yep.
Daniel makes the call.
If you were nitty, I would have folded this hand.
The flop falls a monotone miracle. For Negreanu, this is a tricky spot. He has flopped middle pair with his jack, giving him a piece of the board, and knowing him, he definitely wants to call.
Okay, this could be trouble for both of us. I'm already feeling a lot of pain. Check. Oh, so fast. You don't think. He's so good. Online, the same thing. 75 decisions in 3 seconds. How much?
35.
Well, I can't fold.
How many
Clearly.
times do you misclick a day?
He doesn't misclick. He's
Never?
genius.
Yeah.
Negreanu decides to peel one card. He figures that his pair of jacks might be good if Lou is bluffing, and he wants to see if the board pairs or if he can hit a straight.
Is that a misclick 35 or you got something?
Miss chip.
The turn brings the 7, and it is the 4th heart on the board. This card drastically changes the whole hand.
Well, now this kind of kills the action. There could have been a whole craziness. Now the heart's already there, so either you got one or you don't, right? I'm gonna defer.
9,000.
Okay, you're good. You bet like a medium heart here too. I know you. 9,000?
9,000.
Okay, you bet a lot of hands here. Good player you are. I like to bet 9. I don't have a heart, so I'll let you take it.
Thank you.
Good bluff. No, you didn't bluff. You had it.
Of course I had it.
Did something.
Of course I had 2 cards.
There you go. That's why you don't call out position, get outplayed by these whippersnappers, right?
Tough.
Lock.
They like
Check call, check.
Daniel Negreanu is looking down at pocket 10s. Pre-flop begins with a standard yet deceptive setup involving 3 very different playing styles. Negreanu, operating from position, opens the pot to 2,500, looking to thin the field. Phil Lack, holding ace-queen offsuit, finds himself in a spot where many aggressive pros would 3-bet to isolate the opener. However,
Just calls.
he keeps Negreanu's range wide, but he also invites the 3rd player into the mix. Rick Salomon, never one to turn down a cheap flop with a suited connector, comes along with 6-3 suited. We head to the flop 3-way, with Negreanu holding a strong pair and Locke holding a hand that dominates the Broadway portion of Negreanu's range, but is currently just ace-high. The flop creates a massive disparity in equity. Negreanu has flopped bottom set, hitting his 10 to create a monster. The king on top is the perfect disguise. It connects heavily with Negreanu's perceived pre-flop raising range, allowing him to represent a top pair while actually holding a set. Salomon checks his air, and Negreanu fires a bet of 5,500. This is where Phil Lack makes a questionable decision that defines his sticky play style. He holds a gut shot straight draw. Against a tight player, this is an easy fold. But against Negreanu, who is capable of continuation betting with pure air or a smaller pair like 8s or 9s, Locke convinces himself that his hand has showdown value. The turn brings the king, pairing the board. This is the magic card for Negreanu. He improves to a full house, 10s full of kings. He is now unbeatable.
Fires 18.
Really, Danielson? 18, Danielson?
Too late to change my mind now.
It's true, you're kind of committed to that.
I'd show you a card, but they're both the same.
I'm afraid you have 2 10s. How can I call? I can't call, I fold.
I have 2 10s. I have 2 10s. What do you mean I'm afraid? How did you know that? You didn't have a king, obviously.
No, I didn't have a king.
I did have 2 10s. Well done. Where does that rank? Like, as far as my face, do you believe that I was telling the truth or lies? Because we're mixing that up now.
I thought you had 3 10s.
Yeah.
Tony G is looking down at Queen 10 offsuit. Pre-flop initiates a battle between the loudmouth professional, Tony G, and the loose cannon Hrankowski, an amateur given a stack of cash to play with the big boys. Hrankowski wakes up with a premium holding, ace-queen offsuit. He puts in a standard raise to 2,000, looking to assert dominance early. Tony G, sitting with queen-10 offsuit, decides to defend.
Just to see if I can get it all in as well, and you have quads.
Tony is in a perilous position.
I'll make it a big pot though.
The flop is an absolute powder keg. It is the kind of texture that hits everyone. Hrankowski has flopped top pair, top kicker with a gut shot straight draw to the nuts. A fantastic hand. However, Tony G has flopped top and bottom 2 pair. Standard poker theory dictates that Tony should check to the pre-flop raiser. Tony G, however, has never cared much for standard theory. He leads out with a donk bet for 5,000. By betting into the aggressor, he seizes control of the narrative immediately. The turn brings the 2. Tony G keeps his foot on the gas. He fires a second barrel of 10,000.
Wow. I like your hand. You want to swap hands?
He is extracting value, knowing that an amateur with top pair is rarely folding. For Tony G, this is the perfect card. He improves to a full house, 10s full of queens. For Hrankowski, it is a deceptive card.
I hope you don't have quads. I guess you don't. There's no straight flush out there.
Tony G decides to go for a massive value bet. He fires 35,000 into the pot.
There goes all the profit.
The loose cannon has to decide if Tony G is capable of firing 3 streets as a bluff, or if he is value owning himself with a worse queen. Hrankowski goes into the tank. He looks at the board. Straights are possible, king 9, trip 10s are possible, and full houses are possible. He realizes that Tony's lying leading into the razor and betting big on 3 streets screams immense strength.
You have a good chance of winning the hand if you call.
He was begging at that point. That was begging. I wasn't sure. And then he begged at the river.
So Ken folds. Let's see if he made the right decision. Tony G with queen 10 full boat.
Made a good lay down there, Ken.
I had a full house.
Yeah, you begged at the river. When he was about to fold, Tony, wait.
Did you flop it straight?
Bet too much.
No, he had ace-queen.
Tom Dwan looks down at pocket 7s on the button. Peter 3-bets to $7,200 from the small blind with ace-5 suited, the classic light squeeze that leans on his perceived range advantage and punishes wide opens. It folds out a chunk of Dwan's air while still having blockers and playability when called. Against Dwan, though, that kind of hand rarely wins the pot uncontested. Dwan calls for solid reasons. Pocket 7s have real showdown value, don't fear most flops, and crucially can cooler top pair ranges by upgrading to sets on ace-high or 10-high textures. Flatting also preserves position and a healthy SPR, letting him navigate post-flop without bloating the pot pre. The flop comes ace-7-10. Peter fires $5,500 into the pot. From his seat, this board is his. The 3-better owns more strong ace-X, and C-betting denies equity from backdoor suits and gutters like king-queen or queen-jack. Dwan isn't buying. With middle set, he turns that auto C-bet into a lever, bumping it to $16,000. The raise does 3 things. It taxes all Broadway draws immediately. It announces that Peter won't get to set the pace for cheap, and it starts building a pot that can comfortably play for stacks by the river. Peter calls, consistent with top pair, decent kicker hands, some sticky queens and jacks with backdoors, and the occasional trap. He keeps his range wide enough to fight future streets while not clarifying where he's at. The turn is the queen, tightening ranges and connecting with Broadway draws. Peter now leads for $15,000, trying to seize the initiative back on a card that improves many of his semi-bluffs. This stab is less pure value and more about denying a free river to King-Jack, Queen-Jack, and Jack-9, while forcing Dwan to declare strength or fold middling hands. The lead also subtly caps him. When the small blind block bets on this texture, he's less likely to hold sets that slow played the flop and more likely on one pair, ace-X or a queen, that picked up equity. Tom Dwan doesn't hesitate. He raises to $48,000. A size that polarizes his range and puts every draw in the vice. It punishes the block bet, prices out those 12 to 15 outer combos, and reclaims initiative so he dictates the river. Just as important, the raise calibrates the stacks. After this, the remaining SPR is low enough that any blank lets him jam cleanly, while even scary rivers have already been charged a premium.
Wow, all in. And a snap call. $262,000 pot. Peter is drawing dead. Tom makes a full house on the river.